Alright, so next let's start adding in some details around the house. So we'll start out by adding in this fence right here. Okay, so we're just going to go to this corner of the house and sketch in that fence. Alright, so that's basically what the fence looks like. It's very simple. I basically just drew vertical posts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vertical posts that makes up the fence, and then 2 bigger ones on either side. And I also made sure that the slant of these posts matches up with the side of the house, since we still want the fence to appear in perspective. So there's going to be a slight slant to this fence. And once you have the vertical post in, we go ahead and put in these horizontal posts here. So we got 1 up here, 2 and 3, and then 2 more towards the bottom and the middle. And once again, you should also try to give a slight slant to these horizontal posts as well. So make them look as if they are converging towards that left-hand vanishing point. And then just put a pointy tip on the end of these posts here. Alright, so next let's add in this little wall right here that leads to the backyard. And for that, it's going to be very simple. We're just going to draw a straight line at a slight angle. So the angle of this line is going to match up with the side of the house. And you can put a slight curve to this if you want to make it a little bit more rounded, but I'll just keep the line relatively straight. And now let's go over to this side of the house and put in this little fence right here. Okay, so there's the fence, and it's going to be a metal fence, so you can just use single lines to create it. And I won't bother drawing the top of the fence, since most of it is going to be covered up by a bush. And so now we're just going to add in this wall right over here by drawing a line like that and on top. So I'm just going to add in those lines. And that's it. So now let's add in some bushes around the house. And to do that, I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm just going to shake my hand in this random chaotic motion, and then use that to trace out where I want the bushes to go. And then we can add another bush up on top in this area. And just try to make the lines as random as you can. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And now let's add in the bush in this area right here. So for this bush right here, it's going to start out on this side of the house and then slowly creep into this corner right here. And then finally it's going to end with a few branches that leads into the ground. So once again, I'm just going to use that shaking hand motion. And just be creative and let the bushes and leaves go wherever you feel like. Alright, so that's what that looks like. And now let's add some bushes on this side of the house. So these bushes are gonna sort of start here, go into this area here, and sort of cover a good part of this back side of the house. Okay, so there it is. It's a little messy right now, but we'll clean it up later with the pen. And now let's put in a little bush right on this corner right here. Okay, so it's going to get covered by this pole right here, so make sure you don't draw over it. And now let's draw in these tiny rose bush that lines the side of the house and also lay on top of these pot holders. So let's start with the pot holders first. For these one, I'm just going to start by drawing in a very simple bowl shape. It doesn't have to be complete because most of it is going to be covered up by the flowers anyway, but we just want to suggest it. And then again, using a very shaky hand motion, I'm going to just sort of go in and out and make these spike-like bushes like that. And we'll do the same thing on this side here. Once again, a very in and out jerky motion with your hand. And you can even add in tiny little circles here to represent rosebud. And we can do the same thing for this side. Okay, so let's use that same pattern and put bushes along the side of this house. Alright, so that's what our flower is going to look like. And now that we have the bush on this side drawn in, let's go ahead and add this little back portion of the house right here. So I'm just going to sketch that part in real quick. Alright, so there it is. I added that side of the house, and here's the rain gutter, and then here's the pipe that catches that water and bring it to the sewer line. And then we just drew a straight line down into the bushes to represent the edge of the house. Alright, so that's what our house is going to look like so far.